Hello, YouTube world. Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. This is your first time. Please like, subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell so you can get the newest content and you can get the bonus videos I make on the weekends as well. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the topic today. We'll be talking about the Clippers and is this a game 7 for them? And I definitely think it is. You know what I'm saying? There's no other way to look at it. The Clippers definitely need to win tonight's game to really even have any confidence going forward. And that's just my opinion on it. But before we get into all that, where's my intro? Now, as far as tonight, like I said before, this is definitely a game 7 for the Clippers. It's no other way to look at it. It's no other way to really even view the situation. I mean, the Clippers are, in desperation, what I'm saying? They're desperate to get a W. And I feel like, if they get that one victory, that can give them the mental confidence to actually, extend the series more. And, the longer a series goes on, the more your confidence grows in a 7 game series. So, and I'm not saying they're going to win this series, but do they have a chance? If they get one game and get some confidence and really figure out what their game plan is against this team, they have a chance. I mean, because mathematically they're not eliminated, you know what I'm saying? But in overall, it's going to be very, very difficult to beat the Dallas Mavericks. And I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they get swept or if they lose in 5 games because this is a really, really tough team. And this is a team that started playing really well a month ago, you know what I'm saying, down the stretch of the last portion of the season. And I always say, you want to play well and get that momentum, you know what I'm saying, before the season goes away before the playoffs start. You know what I'm saying? Before you turn that chapter because it gives you momentum, it makes you more confident, and it allows you to feel like your game plan, whatever you're doing, the way you execute plays and how you run your sets is a executable operation. It makes you feel like it's a good operation to use. And that's exactly what the Dallas Mavericks did. They played good the last month of the season. They got healthy. They got Porzingis in there. Porzingis is healthy this year. Well, at least the last part of the season this year. And they got what they needed. And that's the reason why Dallas are up 2-0, along with Luka's great play and along with the other guys who've been playing really, really stellar. And I have to give Rick Carlisle some credit too. I mean, like I said in my other videos, at this point, I feel like he definitely outcoached Ty Lue up until this point in the series. But we'll see, tonight how that game goes and if any changes have been made on the Clippers' behalf. But yeah, I definitely think it's definitely do or die for them. And I definitely think, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to have one of those nights they had the other night, especially Kawhi Leonard. The night he had the other night was like almost epic. I mean, really. It got overshadowed by the fact that the Dallas Mavericks won, but I mean, when you look at how great he was individually, I mean, really can't nobody say anything about that man and his effort and his contribution to trying to win that game because he literally did everything he could. And I understand a lot of people like Chris Broussard and, Shannon Sharp and all them speak on the fact of, oh, well, they just need to jump over screens, this and that. Trust me, it's not as easy as you think. I mean, you can jump over a screen and you could do all those things, but if the other guys aren't playing defense the way they're supposed to and allowing, things like this to happen, Finney Smith and all them other guys to shoot at a high percentage and, get around them with ease, I mean, it's really not going to make much difference. And like I said, there's times where I've seen Finney Smith put it on the floor. I've seen Brunson put it on the floor and blow right past a defender and just get an easy layup to the basket. And when you're getting easy shots along with 3 pointers, it's just really hard to defend. And like I said, my personal opinion, I said it before and I'll say it again. Let Luka's going to get 30 or 40 points. I'm pretty confident that he's going to get that. So let Luka get 40 points, but only let him have 4 assists, 5 assists. Don't let him get 40 points with 15 assists, because if he gets that, you have no chance of winning. Because if you look at the last 2 games, I mean, even with all the points he scored, 38 and 10 and 12 and all that stuff, the numbers that he had, the Clippers were right there in the fourth quarter, had the game tied, or the first game they had a 2 point lead or a 4 point lead in the fourth quarter, or in the late in the waning parts of the game. So this is my point. It doesn't really matter what Luka does. To me, you have to limit his assists, because all the assists that Luka gets, they're all 3 pointers. Every time Luka passes out to the 3 point line, those guys are knocking down threes. They are not getting 2 point layups, the traditional little 17-foot baskets. No, they're knocking down threes. And this is the point. If he has 40 and 3 instead of 40 points and 15 assists, and he only has 3 assists, you have a great chance of winning tonight's game. And this is what the Clippers really have to preach to each other. And I really would like to see, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on, Luka a lot more in the game. But I do understand from the simple point that, you still need their offense, because those other guys just aren't showing up. And I think, it would be easier to say, put Kawhi Leonard on Luka the whole game if Kawhi Leonard can count on his other guys to actually score. Because maybe Kawhi Leonard can actually put, a 24, 25 point night in, and they still win if the other guys are scoring. But the point is, when nobody else is scoring, now you have to ask Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to put up 30 plus points apiece so they can just stay in contention of the game. This is why I say it's very critical that the other guys contribute, score. If they're not going to score, they need to play lockdown defense. That's just what it comes down to, because, like I said, really, Luka's getting all he wants. He's playing at a high level, and like I said, not only him, but everybody else on the Dallas Mavericks are playing at a high level too. So, I mean, when you look at it from that standpoint, this is really, unprecedented territory for the Clippers, because I honestly had them up 2-0 in this series. Bare minimum, I had them 1-1 in the series, at this point right now. So, it's a lot that's going down. It's a lot that's not happening on the defensive end for the Clippers. But the crazy thing is, it's a lot that's not happening on the offensive end for the Clippers, because, as I said before in my other video, when you get 70 points from your two superstars, there's no way in the world you're supposed to lose that game. Because, I mean, all the other guys have to do is just chip in some. They don't have to really put up a 25-point game or anything like that, a 20-point game. Hell, just give me 14 points. Just give me 16. Just give me a consistent, 15 points from each of the other guys. And I mean, that's an easy victory. And like I said, playoffs come down to defense. Playoffs come down to matchups. Playoffs come down to coaching. Right. And playoffs comes down to, you know, um, what team is making more of an impact on either end. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the Dallas Mavericks, they're making more of an impact on the offensive end than anything. And the Clippers aren't making an impact on the offense really, or the defensive end. And that's just the reason why that's the reason why they're down 0-2 in this series. But like I said, mathematically, they're not eliminated. You got to win 4 games. You got to come out there and play your best, and you got to go out there and be, the best player you could be at a high level. And like I said, I call out the Marcus Morrises. I call out the Reggie Jacksons. I call out those other guys, and I actually call out Ty Lue as well. I don't want to see Rondo sitting on the bench with 8 minutes to go or 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I want Rondo out there, because I mean, my thing is, and I do agree with, Chris Broussard and, Skip and Shannon and a couple of others, and, even Max Kellerman, when I heard them say, what did you get Rondo for? I mean, did you get him to leave him on the bench in the fourth quarter and not even put him in these games so he can be effective? Rondo is great in the postseason, and he always has been. And people when the people say playoff Rondo, they're not just talking about him knocking down threes. Rondo has played really good defense in the playoffs before. And that's the reason why he's playoff Rondo, because he can help you win championships. And winning championships, you play good defense to average to good defense or great defense, and you are an offensive threat when you need to be. That is playoff type caliber players, and that's what they do. And Rondo has been that throughout his career. I mean, he just showed it last year in the bubble for anybody who don't know or who has forgotten how good Rondo really can be. And this is the reason why I said, Ty Lue, you have got to learn how to make adjustments. Don't go by what you were taught by Doc Rivers and, how to be a coach, because if that's the case, don't take the job. Give somebody else the coaching job, because honestly, what you're doing right now with this team is allowing them to, flail under pressure when really they have all the talent in the world to actually make it to the finals. They really literally do. But like I said before, it doesn't matter how much talent you have on the team. It matters about how much chemistry you have. And if, it's to me, in my personal opinion, it's on Ty Lue to get these guys in the right position to be who they're supposed to be and play the way they're supposed to play and execute plays at a high level. It is Ty Lue's job to do that. It is not Ty Lue's job to have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George out there scoring 70 points and the rest of the team is really a non-factor. I mean, that just really doesn't make any sense, because that will get you beat every time. Because like I said, usually when two superstars on a team have that amount of production, they never lose. Never lose. And that's what I'm saying. You still lost, and it just seemed like the game was never even close. Even though the game was close at times, the last game, it just seemed like it was never close. It seemed like Dallas was always in control. And this is what I'm saying. If Dallas is always in control of the game, and it looks like when you look at Dallas, it looks like the way they run their plays and the way they're executing, it looks like they're getting easy baskets every time. It looked like the Clippers are struggling to get theirs. And that's the reason why the Clippers find themselves down in the first quarter. You're down 17-6 the first game. I go into the second game, I click the game on, and before I know it, Dallas is up 15-11. And I mean, that's not a big lead, but these are the intangibles, the little things that the Clippers have to look at. Why are you down in the first quarter all the time? Why can't it just be, tied, or you have an 8, 9 point lead in the first quarter? Put your imprint on the game, put your stamp on the game, and let the other team know we are here to win. And we are here to solidify ourselves. You guys are just standing in our way of getting to our destiny. And that's the mentality that the Clippers need to have, because if they don't, like I said, by Monday, the Dallas Mavericks will be moving on to the next series. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to play with this type of sense of urgency. And, it's really, to me, when you look at the Clippers, they have veteran players. A lot of people talk about Kawhi Leonard not being this, uh, what do you say, great leader or whatever. He shouldn't have to be a great leader to a bunch of veterans. He shouldn't have to be a great leader to a bunch of guys who's been in the league for several years. Reggie Jackson has been in the league for several years. Marcus Morris has been in the league for several years. Rondo, well, I ain't gonna speak on Rondo because Rondo's won championships, but this is what I'm saying. When you look at that team, they don't have a bunch of rookies on there. They don't have guys that only been there 1 or 2 years. They have majority of their team is either in their prime or they are maybe even close to out of their prime. This is what I'm saying. So you don't have a bunch of rookies on the team where you got to motivate them so much. Everybody, if you look at their roster, everybody on their roster has been in playoff moments, big playoff moments. Reggie Jackson with OKC. Then you got Marcus Morris with Boston. Kawhi, of course, no doubt. PG, of course, Rondo, um, Serge Ibaka, I mean, even Nicholas Batum. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to be this overwhelmingly great leader for guys to see what they need to do. It doesn't matter how much you talk or motivate these guys. They got to want to go do it. Even they talk about LeBron James being a great leader. He is a great leader. Nobody would ever deny that. But this is my point. It doesn't matter how good of a leader you are. You have to get your guys to respond by them wanting to. I can sit here and tell you to go out there, and if you hold the basketball and spread your fingers and shoot, the ball will have more rotation and has a better chance of going in. Just because I tell you to go do that, that doesn't mean you're going to do it. That doesn't mean you're going to actually go do it when it comes time for you to shoot the ball. You're only going to do it if you have in your mind to want to do it, to want to get better and want to play your game at a high level. That's the only way it's going to work. Don't get me wrong. You being a leader by telling people and pushing people and pulling and pushing the right buttons is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But what if you're telling somebody all the right things to do, but they just don't want to be receptive? That comes into play as well because there's always players like that. You can tell them all the right things to do, but they just don't do it under pressure when they need to. That's the reason why LeBron hasn't won a championship every single year of his career. You know why? Because what he knows and what he tried to implement in some players, some just aren't receptive. And this is my point. My point is this. Kawhi Leonard could do all the talking he wants and tell guys, hey, this, we need to play this way, we need to play that way. It doesn't really matter. Because like I said, these guys are veterans. They know exactly how they need to play, and they know what it takes to win in this league because they've been in multiple playoff situations, and they've been in big playoff moments where they know how it felt to lose, and they knew how it felt to win. So you don't really need to give this overwhelmingly speech or something like that to these guys. That's not Kawhi Leonard's job. That's Ty Lue's job. And Kawhi Leonard, I'm pretty sure he speaks to the players one on one or, maybe make a speech every now and then in the locker room. The media just makes it seem like Kawhi Leonard doesn't speak and all this stuff. Yeah, he doesn't talk to the media, but I'm pretty sure he talks to his teammates because that's the only way you're ever going to win championships. I don't care when he was on the Spurs or Toronto, there has to be communication on the floor. There has to be communication on the sideline when they take timeouts. And there has to be communication and camaraderie in the locker room. And the key word I said right there is camaraderie. And if the Clippers don't play with camaraderie, I promise you this series will be over by Sunday. And that's just the way it goes. But my point is this. Don't sit there and blame one guy in Kawhi Leonard why these other guys are not playing the way they're supposed to. Kawhi Leonard cannot make Marcus Morris play better defense. Kawhi Leonard cannot make Marcus Morris jump shot fall when he's in a slump right now. Kawhi Leonard cannot make Marcus Morris hit two crucial free throws in the fourth quarter, and he misses both of them. Kawhi Leonard's pep talk or whatever is not going to make him make those. When you're under pressurized situations, it's all about you. When you're standing on that free throw line and you have two free throws to make, it don't matter what speech was made in the locker room or to you by the best player or the coach. You have to have it in you to be composed and do exactly what you're supposed to do, which is execute the plan. If you have two free throws, it is your job to make them, not anybody else's. And this is my point. I get tired of hearing the analysts talk about him, Kawhi's not a great leader, this, and that. Everybody's not vocal. Some people lead by example. Some people don't. So this is what I'm saying. Kawhi can be all the great leaders all he wants to, but he still needs the players around him to understand what their role is and how to play their role to perfection, which is the reason why he just won a championship a couple years from Toronto, because when he was in Toronto, everybody knew what their role was. He didn't have to tell Kyle Lowry how to be a point guard. Kyle Lowry knew how to be a point guard. But Kyle Lowry, what do you think about Kyle Lowry? He always plays with effort, energy. Kyle Lowry always plays with the notion of, as a pit bull, I got to go out there and be a pit bull for the team and, get up in my guy and play defense and smell his breath on defense and make my defender know, or the guy I'm defending know, that I'm going to be here for all 48 minutes and this is what you're going to get. You got to kill me out here on this court. But you ain't got to teach Kyle Lowry that. You know why? Because it's in Kyle Lowry's DNA. You didn't have to teach Siakam that Siakam had to go out there and play his hardest every night because he was the second best player on the team and he plays within his means and he has to utilize his size and height so he can alter shots on defense. You didn't have to teach Siakam that. Siakam already played that way. You didn't have to teach any of the players on Toronto that. You know why? Because all of them knew what they were supposed to do and all of them played it at a very, very high level. And the reason why they did that, not just because of who they are, but also because of the coach. When you look at Nick Nurse on Toronto, Nick Nurse was a really good coach. When Toronto was down 0-2 against the Bucks, what adjustments did he make? He put Kawhi on Giannis. And he made some adjustments where they played zone defense at times just to, interrupt the paint. So whoever drove in would have Marcus Gasol to go through or Serge Ibaka standing there, possibly a shot blocker. He made adjustments. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not all about one guy. It's a whole team who wins a championship. It doesn't matter. Kawhi Leonard just scored 41 points the other night, had 30 at halftime, and they still lost because his team is a wreck. His team is not where they're supposed to be. And I can tell you, they're definitely not where they're supposed to be mentally because they don't have that mental capacity, that mental edge, and that mental toughness and that mental fortitude to be a team of championship caliber. Now, I've definitely went on record by saying they are a championship caliber team in my previous videos, but when you look at them in this playoffs, I mean, that is really not the way to look at it. And I have to admit, I made a mistake on that. If they're going to continue to play this way, now if they change the series, then different story. But how they played so far, they're just not a mentally tough team. They're just not who they're supposed to be. They're just not playing at the level they're supposed to play at. And really, you can point the finger at any player, this and that. It really doesn't matter. But what it comes down to, you have to play the game the right way. And the right way is to execute plays. And the right way is for everybody to know their role on the court and why they're out there. If Reggie Jackson is out there to sit there and, just shoot and score and don't play no defense, well, I mean, at least do the scoring. Don't go out there and stink it up scoring, because if you do, then you're really on the court for no reason because you can't do anything else. And I always said players like him that's one dimensional is never really good for the playoffs because he doesn't have anything else in his arsenal or his repertoire that makes him a formidable player or make him a player that really has any value. That's the reason why he contemplated even coming back to basketball before this season, because it wasn't really just because of the fact that, he didn't know whether he wanted to play. Nobody really wanted Reggie Jackson. Nobody really looks at his game and say, oh, he is a playoff bound, ready type player who can help you win a championship. No, nobody thinks that because he's not. And the fact that he's not that, it doesn't really matter, what I'm saying, if he's on the court and if he's not scoring. And I look at Marcus Morris the same way. Marcus Morris is supposed to be a defender. He's supposed to be a dog on defense. You can't guard anybody. You're letting Dorian Finney-Smith, kill you. You're letting players get around you with ease. I mean, unless he's bruising somebody up or fighting them on the court, he's really not even a factor. And he hasn't been up to this point. But I will give him credit. In the regular season, he was shooting good, but it doesn't matter now. You're not shooting good when we need you to shoot the best or shoot at your best, because this is what really counts, not the regular season. And this is the reason why I said changes need to be made in the lineups or, something. And I'm just, like I said before, I definitely think Rondo should be in the lineup. And I think he should be starting, first of all. But I know for sure he definitely should be in the fourth quarter with like 8-9 minutes to go and play the rest of the fourth quarter. I know for a fact I want Rondo in there. If it's the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter or even more than that, I want Rondo in there, because whether he's playing good or not, he can still make adjustments and he can still make high caliber plays for other players. And this is the reason why I think the Clippers are in this predicament, because like I said, I'm really hoping that Ty Lue is not trying to be right about what he's doing rather than doing the right thing for the Clippers to help them win. And what I mean by that is I feel like he's trying to be right in putting Patrick Beverley as the starting point guard over Rondo and let the Clippers figure it out on the court. No, Patrick Beverley shouldn't be starting over Rondo, in my opinion, when you look at it now, because Rondo has the high IQ. This is playoff time. Rondo's IQ is even higher in the playoffs. So these are the things that you have to know as a coach, and these are things you have to implement. It's starting to look like now LeBron James was the coach of the Cavaliers and not Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue was just getting a damn paycheck, and LeBron James was doing all the work. That's what it's starting to look like now to me. And I think it's what it's starting to look like to a lot of other people as well. So if Ty Lue really wants to make things better, if he wants to help this team get over the hump, you have got to make better you have got to make better decisions as a coach. You have got to be on point more in regards to how you make adjustments in these series. Because I mean, that's what the playoffs is all about. The playoffs is all about series, matchups, and how you bowl well against other teams and how you counteract, their adjustments. And this is not something that Ty Lue is doing. Ty Lue is not doing that. Ty Lue is actually allowing the Mavericks to play a lot better than his team, and his team got more talent. His team got the better players. There's no way, like if a lot of people say Luka is the best player in this series, no, he's not. Luka's not the best player in this series. The best player in this series is Kawhi Leonard. Luka just looks a whole lot better because his team is winning. Let that sink in. His team is winning, but they're winning because of the other guys. When Tim Hardaway Jr. has damn near 30 points, and Porzingis goes 3 for 4 from the 3-point line, and Dorian Finney-Smith can't miss, it makes Luka look a lot better, doesn't it? Right. Like I said, let Luka have 35 points with 3 assists and maybe 4 turnovers and maybe 5 rebounds, and let me know what it looks like then. Let me know if he's the best player in the series then, because if let's hypothetically say Luka has that stat line I just said for the rest of the series, well, I think the Clippers win the series. I think the Clippers win the series. I think the Clippers win 4 straight if he has that type of stat line. Because, like I said, when he has 35 points or 40 points and 15 assists, well, you're not going to beat the Dallas Mavericks because all his assists come off of 3-pointers. Because of Dallas, they shoot a lot of threes. They shoot tons of threes. Right. So if you limit him to 35 points and 3 or 4 assists, well, the Clippers probably win those games because even as good as Luka's been playing the last 2 games, the Clippers were right there in the fourth quarter. The Clippers not only tied the games in the fourth quarter, they took the lead by a couple of points. Even with all that the Mavericks were doing, they literally took the lead in these games with all the good that the Mavericks are doing. So what I'm saying is if you limit Luka's assists and kind of neutralize them other guys, it's a whole different series. It's a whole different series. Now, of course, you got to hope that Kawhi Leonard and PG stay hot and can continue to put up points the way they are. But like I said before, they wouldn't really have to do awfully, a lot of like they did last game. Kawhi shouldn't have to score 40 points every game from the win this series. Kawhi should be able to score 26, 28 points from the win this series because they're getting contributions from the Marcus Morrises and the other guys. Well, I mean, honestly, I think they'd be up 2-0. So my point is this, when are the Clippers going to show up? And if they do, and if they are going to show up, is it going to be tonight? Because if they don't show up tonight, the series is over with. And I definitely think they lose Sunday. I definitely think, it's a sweep. So, but hey, this is my opinion on it. This is my take on it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section and let me know what you think about everything about what I said about tonight and the game, and let me know what your pick is. Do you pick the Clippers to win or not? Hey, let's engage in the Khaliis Take community and let's talk about it. And hey, Cali out.